Hey. Hey. Just take that thumbnail. What y'all think? I just had to. So we're gonna get this set up. Alright. So the shelves are in disarray right now. And we're gonna do a romance recommendations video. Let's go. Just in time for Valentine's Day, we have got a romance recommendations video. I'm so excited to be filming this. This is just going to be contemporary romance. I thought about historical and I thought, wait a minute, Amanda, your girl's already made this video. So if you need some historical fiction, historical romance recommendations, I will link my video in the card here and down below that I did last year. I am going to mention a few new historical romance books that I have read since that video in here, but most of the ones I already had in that video that I had read, so yeah, you can check that out too. But this is mostly contemporary romance and a couple of new historical romance. Okay, if you're new to my channel, which most of you already know, my favorite genre is romance, whether that's historical romance or contemporary romance, and it just depends on what mood I'm in. And so I can't take myself serious. Okay, what is this video? This has to go, you already know. So I got these cute little Valentine's decor pieces from the dollar store, all the good things, right? And I've got my little Let Love Grow shirt. Here, I'm ready for this. I'm ready, okay? So Valentine's is always the cutest, like, just cutest time, isn't it? Like, we just love all the decor and all the colors. I love red and pink. They're my favorite. I've even got my nails, honey. We ready. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this video because I've already filmed 2 minutes almost and I don't even know what I'm doing. Most of the books on this list are Christian fiction, and I do have a couple of maybe just one secular book. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the secular book real quick, just get that out the way. And that is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. This is a lot of fun. It does have some language in it, but if you can skip through the language, very few times there were some things I didn't love about the language, but this story was so good. Like, Catherine Center just has the best romance in this, okay? We have some fake dating. It's one of my favorite tropes if it's done well. And yeah, I just had a good time with this. And first of all, the cover, I mean, I just love all the vibes of this cover. The yellow and the pinks, they stand out to me. This is about Hannah, and she's a protection agent, and she's protecting, what was his name? Jack Stapleton. He's like this famous guy, okay? And the paparazzi are pretty much all over him. He has this stalker, all this stuff going on, and she pretty much has to pretend to be his girlfriend during this time when she's really protecting him from this crazy woman, okay? The reason that they have to fake date is Jack's mom is sick, and so she has to go with him since he has to go there to help his mom, and everything goes on from there. She gets to know his family. It's just a good time, and it has a little bit of action, really a lot of great romance, and the characters had the best chemistry, all the good things. This is clean for sexual content, but there was, like I said, some language. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Gives 4 stars, and I do plan on reading her next book that comes up this year, Hello Stranger. The cover looks amazing. Yeah, y'all already know, so yeah. The next book is Authentically Izzy by Pepper Basham. You already know. I did a whole vlog on this. I worked really hard on that vlog, so it was like my favorite video of the year last year that I made. And this book was just made for me. I loved the story. The audiobook is the way to go with this because you have the best narration. You can easily tell who's talking because of the accents, the cast. It's so great. The guy who plays Brody in this is phenomenal. Hey, we love to see the accents. He's kind of got like this Scottish, Irish accent in a way. It's the best. Okay, and so this is an epistolary novel told mostly in emails and text messages and all the things. Short version is Izzy Edgewood, her cousin Josephine, sets her up on a dating site, and she doesn't really want to be on this dating site, but they're trying to get her matched up with somebody, and she ends up getting matched up with this guy Brody the Hobbit, and everything goes on from there. Okay, he lives in the Scamarian Islands, and it's kind of like Scotland to me, and we love to see it. It was just the best. I loved all the interactions, the bookish vibes, Lord of the Rings references, all the stuff. Love this so much. Highly recommend. Book 2 is Positively Penelope, that comes out later this year. I'm already really excited about it because that's her cousin in this book. So great. Cannot wait. it's good. Gonna be great. So yeah, highly recommend if you've not read this. I talked a lot about it already. So yeah, just throwing it in here because we love to see it. We've got Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. Just a classic. I can't say enough about this book. I read it in 2016. It changed my life. Like soon after coming back to the Lord, I read this book and it was just so impactful for me. I want to do a reread. I want to do the devotional, the 40-day devotional. My friend Lindsay Lee Missa bought that for me recently as a gift. I love it. I'm so excited to dive into that. But I really want to reread the book first before I do that because I want it to be fresh in my mind because that's been a long time ago. And I really want to watch the movie too. So that's something that's like a goal kind of this year for me. But just love this so much. Most of y'all already know what Redeeming Love is about. But you've got this girl, Angel. And she pretty much expects nothing but betrayal from men, says it in the synopsis. She is in a lifestyle of prostitution and she kind of goes through all the motions and crazy things in her life. And she meets this guy, Michael. He seeks the Lord and everything and he pretty much helps her through her circumstance and they fall in love. And it's just the greatest story. And you really see the Lord's redemption in this book. I love it so much. Highly recommend. I just love it. So yeah, it will make you cry. It's just like one of the greatest love stories of all time. I love it. So yeah, we have got A Girl's Guide to the Outback by Jessica Kate. I've not talked about this in a while, but really enjoyed this when I read it. I also want to read another one of her books I've got, Love and Other Mistakes. Move stuff around. I also want to read this one too. But yeah, I read this one last year, earlier in the year. Maybe it was like April or May of 2022. Really enjoyed this. It was so much fun. Sam and Kim in this book, Kimberly and Samuel. I can't remember what they go by, if it's Sam and Kim or Samuel and Kimberly. Anyway, we're going on with it. But they work together in a youth ministry, and he's like a leader of the group, like a youth pastor. He's like a youth pastor in Virginia in this church, and things start going crazy and he ends up basically leaving because he feels like Kimberly's trying to take over everything. He goes back home because their family farm back in Australia is like suffering, so he ends up going back home, and then Kimberly ends up going to Australia to try to convince Sam to come back because the stuff's not going good without him there. And in romance fashion, y'all already know what's about to go down. So yeah, she's like chasing after him to come back, and she starts helping him with his problems as well. And yeah, it's like a good enemies to lovers in a way because they're not really getting along at the beginning at all. And then they start to get to know each other, and it's just a really good time. So yeah, and this is Christian fiction. It's published by Thomas Nelson. And I want to say there was some good faith in this for sure. Yeah, I want to say there was. So, and we can't have this video without Becky Wade. Becky Wade, you already know.
We can't have this video without Becky Wade. Becky Wade, you already know.
Okay, so yeah, the whole Misty River series. Hey, this matches my shirt, y'all. Look at this. The whole Misty River series, okay? I just finished reading Turn to Me this month, and I loved it so much. I did a whole review for the series on my Instagram. Y'all, these books are just so good, y'all. I think my favorite out of the series is Stay With Me. I recently reread this. I read this for the first time last year in May or April, and then I reread it in January, and it's a book that I think could be reread every year. There's something about this one that just touches my heart in many different ways because of the topics discussed and everything. So if you've not read Becky Wade, these are some really great ones to start with. I have not read her other ones, of course, so I can't really say, but these were just some of my favorites. Stay With Me, Let It Be Me, and Turn to Me. And just a real quick rundown. Stay With Me, you got Jen and Sam. And Sam, he's Australian, and he finds Jen pretty much in his spare farmhouse, and she's passed out there because she was on pills and stopped and didn't remember what was going on. And so he's trying to pretty much help her through that. She's like a Bible study author, doesn't want anybody to know about her drug problem with opioid pills and everything. So she has a well-respected family and all this stuff. So she pretty much says, hey, can you let me rent out your farmhouse temporarily so you can help me like get through this to get clean? And everything goes on from there. They have really great banter back and forth. There's some funny moments in this. Loved it so much. It was takes a very serious topic, and the Lord was working in her life so much. I mean, it was so good. And especially the ending, was just really touched my heart in so many ways. So yeah, I love this one the most. And then this one, we were dealing with Leah and Sebastian. I really like their characters together because they're both very smart people, and they're like very nerdy and just into everything, and so they really go well together. But Leah, she is trying to figure out who her real parents are because she takes a DNA test and realizes real fast that her parents ain't who she thought they were. And so Sebastian, he is a pediatric surgeon, heart surgeon, and so he, because of the connections he has in the health field, he starts trying to help her piece everything together of her birth story, and everything goes on from there. But there's kind of like this little twist of Leah's friend Ben really likes Leah, and they work together at the high school, and so Sebastian is friends with Ben, and it's like, he don't want to step on his toes, so, but I'm just like, look here, Ben, you're going to have to go on, because they just don't, they're just friends, and so, yeah, but it is good. This is really good, done very well, and I loved it so much. And then we've got Turn to Me, and this one, y'all, I think if I had to rank them, it's Stay With Me, Turn to Me, and Let It Be Me. But they all really are great. They're all 5-star reads. But then Turn to Me, I loved it so much. I've not really done my memo wrap up yet, but with this. But this is all about Luke and Finley. Luke has recently got out of prison for, I think it was felony theft, and he's like trying to turn his life around and all this stuff. Finley is the owner of like an animal rescue place, and so Luke goes to work with her. Luke knew her father in prison and promised her dad that he would like help her seek out this final treasure hunt after he had passed away, to uncover a secret treasure of some sort. And so they end up working together, and it's just a beautiful story. They're just so raw and real in this story. So that's the one thing about this whole series is Becky's writing is just beautiful. Takes real life topics and has great faith to show how the Lord is working in our characters' lives. And life is messy, and she knows how to just handle those topics and throw the faith in there and make you really have the feels for this, and you really feel connected to every character. I can't recommend Becky Wade enough. So yeah, Becky Wade, Misty River series. I talk about it all the time, but hey, official video, we have to talk about it, okay? So then we've got another Becky Wade, My Stubborn Heart, and this one's special, you guys. Like, I don't even know. This is just so different. It's very, like, again, this has a very hard topic, and you see the characters going through it. They are going through things, and the Lord is so good in their life. It's just so good. This is all about Kate and Matt. Kate is going to Pennsylvania to help her grandmother restore her old house. And then we have former hockey player Matt, and he has experienced the death of his wife. You know that very early on, and he has just had so much heartbreak, and he's run away from the Lord, okay? And he's pretty much hid from everyone over the years, but everyone in the whole town knows him as the famous hockey player. They love him, but he just went through some hard things with the loss of his wife. But he ends up saying he will help Kate with her grandmother's house, like the renovations and stuff. That's how they meet. Everything goes on from there, and the Lord really just answered his prayer in this book, and it was just so beautiful. And she's like, I can't remember if she was like in her early 30s or not, but everyone keeps saying, when are you going to settle down? When are you going to find somebody? And then here comes Matt, and it's like, everybody wants them together. And it's just, I don't know, it's like they needed each other at the right time. It's one of those stories of putting the right people together at the right time. It's really emotional. This book took me through it. It took me through it, okay? Woo! It took me through it. I remember crying, y'all. All right, and now we have got Nicole Deese. Y'all already know these books. I've talked a lot about these already, but All That Really Matters and All That It Takes. First of all, the covers are so geometric and beautiful. The pink on All That Really Matters is beautiful. Love the blue. Just love everything. Oh, I match on this too. Hey, I can take a picture on this. So anyway, yeah. So this one is really special because it's all about Molly, and she has this bright personality, so much fun. She's a social media influencer. She's dating her manager, and he's not the greatest guy in the world. But he ends up saying that, hey, you have all these followers. There is this show that we could get you on. You need to find a cause to make it look like you are so involved in your community so that you can get picked to be on this show. He's wanting her to gain an edge on her competitors for this show by going and finding an organization in need, right? But little does she know, she really finds an organization in need that truly changes her life, and I loved it. She ends up volunteering for the summer at a transitional program for aged out foster kids, and there she ends up meeting this charming director, Silas Whitaker, and everything goes on from there. The faith in this was good. It truly makes you realize what all that really matters, just like the title says. Okay, we love to see the transformation in our main character. It was good. And then we have All That It Takes, and this book is following Val, who was the assistant for Molly in book 1. And so she ends up moving across the country with her son to take a job and all this stuff. She ends up renting an apartment from her best friend's brother. Yeah, which is none other than Pastor Miles McKenzie. And he comes home from a short-term mission trip to discover that he's got this new tenant, which is her and her son. And so everything goes on from there. They start getting to know each other. There's pursuing. It's so good. But both of our characters are struggling with some hard things, and they each are helping each other get through it, and it's just so good. These both have really great faith content too. So yeah, I highly recommend these. Love them. Then we have In Search of a Prince and To Win a Prince by Tony Shalhoub. I love Tony Shalhoub's writing. It's just addictive, beautiful, faith-filled, lovely. I cannot say enough about these books. My favorite cover is this one, of course, with the dress. I mean, look at that dress. And then, of course, this one's really nice, too. These dresses are beautiful. The colors, I just love them. In Search for a Prince, I gave 4.5 stars. And To Win a Prince, I gave 5 stars. This one really impacted me a lot because I love the, faith transformation of our main guy. And then this is all about Brielle, who is a teacher in New York City, when all of a sudden everything changes in her life when her mom drops this bombshell on her, never told her that she is really a princess of an island kingdom around Africa, off the coast of Africa, and she has to immediately assume her royal position, okay? Because her grandfather's health is failing, and she has to go ASAP over there, okay? And there's all these secrets her mother has kept from her, so she's upset with her mom. She ends up having to go over to Africa. She doesn't even know if she wants to have the throne. She's trying to learn how to be a princess. Doesn't know anything about princess life. And so her best friend Iris ends up going with her as well. And of course, just like it says, in search of a prince, she has to find a prince. And everything goes on from there, okay? We're trying to find who's our prince, okay? Who's gonna be our prince in this book? And then in book 2, we follow her friend Iris and this guy Econ, and she's like this fashion queen, and she has her own little business and stuff, and then Econ and her have to work together, and he's kind of like a grumpy guy at the beginning, you know, he's not the best, and there's some transformation that really takes place that I loved. And so, yeah, that's all I'll say, because these were just really great. The faith in these are so good. I would say these have some of the best faith content in a romance I've read in a long time. So, yeah. And of course, Tammy O'Gray. You already know. I mean, what am I saying? I mean, these are just me gushing about all the books I loved last year, right? So, yeah, Love and a Little White Lie, Love the Dream Come True, and no, what am I saying? Love and a Little White Lie, Loving the Silver Lining, Loving the Dream Come True. So, first of all, these covers are my favorite covers of probably all the books I have on my shelf. So, yeah, we'd love to see it. But my favorite would be probably number 1. Really like number 2. These two are kind of tied, honestly. I don't know. But the ending of number 1 is one of my favorites. Ooh, okay. I really like the guy in that one. And then this one was my least favorite. You already know. I've already talked about it. But it was a little disappointing. But, hey, still a really great series. And highly recommend. My saying, can't get these in line. This is all about January Sanders, and she is a non-believer. She ends up going to work for a church. She's trying to pretend she's a believer. She ends up meeting this guy and in the church group, and everything kind of goes on from there. There's a love triangle in this. She starts realizing about faith, of course. You already know. It has really great salvation stories. We love to see it. And yeah, I love the ending of this more than anything, because the guy she ends up with is my favorite. And then we have this one, Loving the Silver Lining. This one has a love triangle too, and it's got Darcy and 2 other guys. I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to spoil anything. I've talked about it before, but right now I'm not going to say their names because, yeah, reasons. But the guy she ends up with here, I loved him so much. Yeah, I'm just saying. And so she, pretty much her whole dream of mission work is squashed really fast. The trip gets canceled. She's devastated. So she has to give up her apartment that she had. And she ends up having to go move in with this guy's little sister. And there's all this distrust between her and that guy. And he's like a singer of a band and all this stuff. And so she starts realizing that there's more between each other. And they start getting to know each other. But there's also a love triangle in this. And I was really annoyed with one of the guys in this so bad. And so that's probably the reason that I didn't love the main guy in this book and all his story, because at this point I didn't like him in book 1 and 2. So by the time book 3 came along, I was like, peace out. But still, these books were just, these 2 are my favorites. Highly recommend them. The faith in these are so good. You will not regret reading Tammy L. Gray. I will tell you that right now. She is just so amazing. And I'm sad she's not writing any more books for a while, or I don't even know if she will, but I've at least got some more of hers to read, and I'll have to make another updated video, okay, after I read some more of her books. But yeah, I mean, they go together so good, do they not? I also want to talk about Tacos for Two by Betsy St. Amant. I liked this a lot when I read it last year. It was one of the early books I read in Christian fiction. There's not really any faith in this. That was a disappointment. This is published by Revel, so it is a Christian publisher. But yeah, there was no real faith in this, but it was a fun time. It's a little too long. I will agree that it's too long because, yeah, I mean, it just shouldn't have been this long. It probably could have been 100 pages less, and it's 350. So this could be literally like 50, maybe 75 pages less. But I still really want to mention this because it was a good time. This is about food truck owner Rory. And it's been a while since I read this. Let me make sure. Yeah, there's a food truck competition, and the prize money could help her with her family and their financial footing and all that stuff. And so then there's this guy Jude, and he's pretty much like a puppet in his father's law firm, and he doesn't want to be a lawyer. He wants to cook. And they end up working together. Some cooking lessons go down, and there's a competition that they have to compete against each other, and that's pretty much the whole story. And so, yeah, I really liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. Looking back, I'd probably be about like 3 to 3.5 if I read it today. But still, it was a good read. And I wanted to mention it like an honorable mention because I think a lot of y'all would like this. It's cute. Has lots of the food truck vibes. That's like a whole thing now. So yeah, really liked it. I've got some historical reads that I really enjoyed that I want to mention since my last video. I may be missing some, but hey. I already talked about The Rose and the Thistle, so there's like an honorable mention. I've talked a lot about this already, but this was the best book that I read in January, okay? Next to Left Behind, but this really was the best book I read in January, and it's a recent release. Laura France, first time reading her books. It has all the Scottish vibes. I say this is like a clean version of Outlander, because Outlander's in my heart. I already love Claire and Jamie, but I'm not gonna mention that in this video, but Outlander is my favorite. Like, they're my favorite couple of all time, Jamie and Claire. You already know. But this is like a clean version for me. It just had all the vibes of Outlander to me. So we've got the set in 1700s, just like Outlander. This girl, Lady Blythe, her dad is an enemy to the British crown. He has Jacobite sympathies. Again, in Outlander, we're talking about Jacobites. So look, it's just all the vibes, you know what I'm saying? So that forced her to flee her home in northern England. And so she ends up going to Scotland, where she ends up meeting Everard. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but yeah, he has recently lost his father, so he's having to like figure everything out in his own problems he's got with his house and everything. A lot of political intrigue and stuff in this book. He ends up basically having to protect our girl here. It's a good time. So love the romance in this. You don't really get much into the romance on this until halfway in, going towards the end. Want to mention that for some of y'all because that may be kind of like a, you don't know, you'd rather be right into it, but it was good for me. I loved it. Okay. And then these. So Pepper Basham, you already know. Okay. So Mistletoe Countess is it's like a historical romance. And then Cairo Curse. These books just came out. Actually, not just came out. This book just come out. I can't talk. But I recently read this. I gave it 4.5. This one I gave 5 stars. This one you could read probably any time in the winter, in my opinion, because it's not too overly Christmassy. Loved it. I know it's Mistletoe Countess, but to me, it's not like the overly Christmassy read. You could read it anytime, honey. So in the winter, you could pick it up now. And then this one, like I said, just come out. This one's more mystery than romance, but I wanted to mention it because it follows our main romantic characters from this, and you get a lot of like good romance vibes in here, but it's mostly mystery. So like if you're like a mystery lover, you're gonna like this. That our main characters are like trying to solve a mystery in here, okay? So really Mistletoe Countess for romance. This is also like a clean Jamie and Claire from Outlander because they're just like they have to get married and they are getting to know each other as a married couple. And in this, the faith was really nice. And so, yeah, I love this so much. Grace is so funny too. Like Pepper's characters really just make me laugh all the time. So yeah, they're very unique. That whole book has really great unique characters too. So I think, is that it? I'm pretty sure that was it. I think for biblical fiction, I did have this one pulled out, Jewel of the Nile. This had a nice little romance inside of it, but that wasn't the main point of the story, but it did have a nice romance. Honorable mention. I mean, a lot of Christian fiction has romance in it, you know, and like pretty much this whole shelf here, honey, is romance. Historical romance. But like I said, I already have a video on historical and historical romance, so I didn't want to talk about those again. So yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it for this video. I'm sorry it was kind of long-winded. I probably didn't explain it 100% as I wanted to, but I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Let me know some of your favorites down below in the comments. I know a lot of y'all are really wanting to get into some of these that you've been telling me lately. I've been seeing the comments, and I hope that y'all have a very nice Valentine's Day. It's always fun. I'm not really like big into Valentine's Day, but I like the colors and just like the decor, and I don't know, just something about it. It's always fun. I always tell my hubs, don't be going out and buying a bunch of flowers. Go to Kroger if you want to buy flowers, spend $20. That's it. Because your girl does not need no florist. Okay? That'd be my money too, and I don't want to spend it. But it is all about money. I get it. But it's always fun too because I'm a sucker for a good romance. So, hey, I hope that y'all have the best day. Love y'all. Let me know in the comments if you've read these books, your favorite romance. Are there any I need to check out? So many that I've read that I don't own on my shelf that I just couldn't remember right off, but I just grabbed the ones on my shelf. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, y'all.